everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri and I'm back with yet another very interesting, thought-provoking and action-oriented conversation. But this time, my guests are quite different from the ones I hosted earlier. Let me tell you why. In case you have heard of India Didac or India Didactics, the organization, the event, etc., you might be knowing about their annual event, which is a mega affair. And believe me, last year when I attended, I came back overpowered, overwhelmed with the kind of huge event it was and the learnings I got from there. So this year, the event is going to be held very soon. We'll know from the guests when, what, how, etc. So I have the pleasure of introducing you to Mr. Aditya Gupta, who is the CEO of India Didactics Association, and Dr. Neeta Pradhan Das, who is the Chief of DIDAC Skills. And they are with us today to tell us more about the upcoming event and also the opportunities we have in the skills and education ecosystem to connect with them, to understand, learn more, and also participate in the event, either as people who are attending or going through the exhibition and the sessions, or also as exhibitors in the event. So let me get started by asking Mr. Aditya about the event itself, a little bit about the history, the story behind, and how significant it is. And what is the difference between Didac India and Didac Skills this year that you're going to have more emphasis on skilling, right?
Thank you so much, Madhuri. It's a pleasure absolutely to join you and to join your show on the National Skills Network. I think uh, initially I will start with congratulations. I think the National Skills Network
Thank
has been
you.
doing some fantastic job and creating such a awareness on the skilling aspect in the country. Uh, Thank you for the introductions. Great to meet everybody here. As you mentioned, I think DIDAC is, as we are known, DIDAC India, the exhibition part of it, and the association is India Didactics Association. We are celebrating our 15th edition of the event this year, and we are now, as recorded, Asia's largest event for education and skills, with India's only event which brings together more than 40,000 business to business, B2B education and industry leaders under one platform over the 3 days with exhibition, conference, workshops, masterclasses, roundtables. So we have more than 500 exhibitors from 20 countries, 6,000 brands showcasing their products and solutions, anything to do with education and skills under one roof. So if somebody is looking at hardware, software, content, curriculum, training, technology, infrastructure, anything, it would all be under one roof. Of course, there would be multiple conference sessions, more than 40 plus workshops happening. And I think the important point is that we've got visitors from every single corner of India coming together. So what we are focusing and what our entire mission is, can we make this the pilgrimage or the meeting place for the entire education stakeholders community, learn from each other, grow with each other. And yes, we are very happy that the event is now in the second year again back in Delhi. So the 15th edition of the event, a mega event. So we are back in Delhi and Yashobhoomi in November 18 to 20th November.
Yeah, that's actually just a month and a half, I guess, ahead of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really nice to hear the background and the information that you provided. And I would again go back to my experience last year. I could also see so many other countries, exhibiting there, and we got to learn so much, especially in the skilling space. So this year, I'm again, I'm assuming there's going to be much more of that presence. So in this backdrop, can you tell us a bit more about, the key focus areas? What are the areas, probably the themes for the conference? Just an overview so that our audience gets to know a little more. And
Right.
also you can tell us a bit about the EdTech focus that we saw last year. There were so many innovative things there, right? We could experience them. We could, get a first-hand view of the emerging technologies and how they're influencing the education and skill sector.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we talk about DIDAC, the event, I
Hmm.
think, and we're talking about what's new, what's the theme.
Hmm.
More than the theme, what I'll want to talk about is what's new. because where we've always had Didac India as the brand for
Hmm.
14 years, which was India's largest on Asia in education and skills, or Asia's largest in education and skills. The
Yeah.
new this year is the launch of DIDAC Skills. And
Hmm.
for us, this is an important element because DIDAC India, like you said, covered everything around edtech or everything which a school
Hmm.
college would need. So would start from infrastructure, furniture, to the interactive boards, to the softwares, to the content side of it, pedagogy side. We
Hmm.
always had a strong skilling element to it. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, what does happen is because the event is large, sometimes the skilling ecosystem does get hidden or does get neglected, not brought out prominently, which is where Messrs. Stuttgart and India Didactic Association, as partner organizers, got together and said we need to focus on skills because we all understand the importance of skills.
Right.
Thankfully, now with NEP coming in, uh,
Hmm.
the larger ecosystem is also talking about skills, starting from the vocationalization of education at the school level to higher education level. So we needed to make it a much more prominent factor. I
Hmm.
know Neeta would talk more about the skill side,
Yeah.
but when you ask the focus of the exhibition and the conference, the bigger focus of the exhibition and conference this year is to make sure that the alignment between education and skills stays. So it's two
Hmm.
concurrent events, DIDAC India, DIDAC Skills happening together. One common conference called the International Education and Skills Summit,
Yeah.
multiple workshops, all having focus on education and skills. So the focus this year would be to say, how are we integrating technology? How are we integrating employability? How are we integrating skills in our conventional models of education, starting from school level to lifelong learning level? So I think it is the new part for us this year is that how we can help the government's vision with skilling and
Hmm.
say, help the schools, help the colleges who know and heard about skills, but how do you implement it? So the
Correct.
how of skills, the why of skills, who to partner of skills,
Hmm.
that for us is going to be the new thing.
So important. I think some of the points you mentioned just now are absolutely critical to the entire ecosystem. Let me just, reiterate these few things. One is the implementation focus, which you just mentioned, and the NEP as a backdrop. And I think at this point, Dr. Neeta, you are the one I should ask, to share more details from the skilling perspective. Please tell us more what we can expect from the skilling point of view now that Mr. Aditya just listed out few important areas. And what would be the takeaways? Let's say, for example, when people want to participate as visitors or they just want to come and experience the whole thing, or even, like I said, I would emphasize on even exhibiting, putting up the stall and taking the space to showcase because skilling has a huge practical element, right? And this would be the fantastic avenue for them. So, could you tell us a bit more on this?
Thank you very much, Dr. Dubey, and fantastic to be on your show. And, also speak to all your members. I know you have a wide network, and we'd love to speak to them and see them at the show as well. So, when we envisaged Didact Skills, uh,
Hmm.
of course, one of the main themes was how do we link education and skills? So
Right.
that's why if you look at it, we call it the Didac shows or the Didac event because Didac India and Didac Skills are co-located. We have concurrent events. So, this is also to actually a testament to say that we believe in this whole fact that skills and education need to go together.
Hmm.
So when we were conceptualizing Didac Skills, of course, NEP was the background, but one of the real critical areas that we realized we needed to show was the whole skill ecosystem as it exists.
Hmm.
So where have we reached?
Hmm.
We are themed our Didact Skills. This time the show is themed under future of work. So, what is the future looking like? So, we wanted to showcase the complete skill ecosystem as it exists, and in terms of the advanced technology that we have now been able to actually witness in the ecosystem as well. So, we need to show that there is, on one side, we have a basic entry level job role, but there is something that is as high as a scientist, maybe, or like we were talking about, just to give an example of if we can have a PhD in plumbing, why not?
Yes.
The world has it, why not?
Hmm.
So I think that's where we want to show the length and breadth of where the skill ecosystem has reached now. So when you come to the Didac Skills show, along with Didac India, what you will see is, of course, this not only the state of the art, technology and state of the art training centers that are there in our country, but we also need to give confidence and also build that confidence to say we do have successful skilling models in the country. So how do we learn? Like, Mr. Aditya said, how do we learn from each other? I think our real focus is how do we get people together? How do we get them to partner together? How do like-minded people come together and say that, okay, this is for us. We can learn from each other, we can share from each other. And India being such a vast country, I always say enough is never enough, that you will build real partnerships there. You will get to see what is innovative for your schools and colleges. What is it that you can take back? I think that one of the agendas that we have very clearly put out is that we really want to showcase the strength of industry academia collaboration as well. So we do have, for the first time, maybe in Didac, we have higher education actually exhibiting and in a larger number, visiting us as well. So that's a large focus that we have, and we want to build that strength and give it to the rest of the country. So we are here, I think building confidence for the country as well, to say that our skill ecosystem does work, and also trying to give a message to the education ecosystem to say, let's collaborate. We have reached a level where we can actually partner. We need to partner. So whether it's schools, colleges, universities, whichever way. So what you will also see at the Didac Skills, we've said it is not going to be a PPT and a flex show for sure. It's a hands-on learning platform for everybody. So as in Didac India, we have all educators who come in as learners. That's the first thing I learned when I came here, and it was fascinating. So the same way, every visitor is going to be a learner. They're going to take back something when they get into the show. So we are going to have, we're going to be showcasing demonstrations where people actually come, our visitors actually come and, do some kind of hands-on practical, tryout on one of the machines or the equipment or even a concept. And we have challenges this year. So, this year is the first year. So we have around 6 to 7 challenges, which are going to be a showcase. So for us, Didac Skills is a complete show and tell. So, like Mr. Aditya says, it is going to be seeing is believing. They will come and see, they will touch, feel, and they will understand and take back the experiences which are going to be lifelong, not only learning, but, implementation ideas. So for us, some of the key focuses, of course, key agendas that we have, if I have to sum it up, one is understanding the skill ecosystem in totality. We have one side, which, of course, the government of India has put in a lot of effort, and we want to also support that. But there is the other side, that is the private sector side, which is, going ahead with technology, with the new innovation, with partnerships, with collaboration. So how do we marry both of them and, make it a holistic ecosystem? The second is the industry academia partnerships. We really want people to focus on that. We want visitors to understand that and start implementing. And the third is to say that skilling means practical, hands-on experience and the fun of it. We'd like everybody to come and enjoy what they're doing and take back that joy to their classrooms or their colleges or their universities and build a completely different future-ready workforce, which is relevant to the industry. So this is what Didac Skills is going to be. It's all going to be about excitement, learning through joy and fun.
Yeah, I think a great overview and a summary of all the points. Perhaps, we can also look at 2 or 3 important elements. I would request Mr. Aditya to take this forward, like what Dr. Neeta just said. Maybe a few points, like I'll tell you from my experience, attending so many events, doing, moderating discussions, and for the last so many years, there is, of course, this practical thing which gets missed after the discussion. So that is so crucial. Like you said, higher education. My understanding in higher education says that even though we talk a lot about introducing skill-based courses, still there is a huge gap. I'm sure you know all those practical things. So how is the event going to help? Do you foresee, something like you're going to follow up, or is Didac India going to also play a bit of a role? Let's say, for example, MOU signing happens or some deals happen, but we are not aware after that what happens, because these are all very nice things to see during the event. But what after the event?
Yeah, critical. Absolutely. I think I completely agree with you.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes we get so engrossed with the theoretical side of things.
Yeah.
Uh, like you mentioned, what happens in events. Honestly speaking, we've seen multiple conferences happening in the country, and they're very good conferences.
Hmm.
But what we as DIDAC totally believe is conferences are great to create sensitization, awareness. We need to do that, right? The whys of anything is important, or the maybe some of the whats. But the exhibition where you what Neeta just mentioned, the touch, the feel, the experience side, one awakens the senses. It is about, yes, this is actually possible on ground. It's not something which we are talking in air. It's not something which is happening in one part of the world and not known to the other. So it
Right.
is that. Then it comes to actual collaborations, because you're meeting more than 500 industry partners. The first question which an educator might ask a school or a college or an institute or a training center would ask, okay, and how do I actually get down to doing this? You talked about innovation and ed tech and skills. We don't expect existing teachers with existing capabilities and capacities to deliver the new age skills. It's not going to happen. The technology is evolving, industry demands are evolving, employability needs is changing. How do we expect our existing faculties and trainers and teachers to deliver what's going to happen 10 years later? The
Yes.
students are smart, they're innovative. The teachers have been teaching for 25, 30 years. They're set in a particular pedagogy. So it starts from a faculty or an educator walking in as a learner into the event. So it's more about unlearn, relearn, reskill, understand what is the requirement. So it starts from there. Then, of course, we've got the leaders who will talk to the companies, look at collaborations happening. So you talked about the business part of it. How do we know what business happens? Well, the actual proof of concept comes from the fact that we've got more than 90% of our exhibitors coming back year after year, and not just coming back, they're coming back in a bigger way. So the feedback we keep getting is that almost 50-60% of their turnovers through the year happen at Didac because of the kind of partnerships they forge, the kind of introductions they get. So it starts again from all of these. Of course, with all the policy meets, roundtable discussions, there are a lot of MOUs, a lot of collaborations which happen. We are proud. Like last year, we were hosting the India Victoria Higher Education Roundtable meet at the event, which were bringing together very handpicked 12 universities from Australia, Victoria, and 12 from India, and looked at forging partnerships and MOUs there. So a lot of those MOUs get created. We have this year more than 10 sector skill councils who have joined hands for DIDAC Skills, which means that we are talking about industry and academia coming together, a joint MOUs being created with the Sector Skill Council and India Didactic Association at the DIDAC Skills event. So that's again an example of collaboration. Then we talked about follow-up. You asked me what happens when the educators go back. Does it really implement something? Does it affect something on ground? Yes, this is a key factor. We started this concept around 5 editions back.
Okay.
So we do a sample size surveys with, because the numbers are large, we can't reach out to everybody, but we always do a sample size surveys of more than 5,000 educators who attend the event and follow it up with them to say, okay, what are the key takeaways you've taken back from here? What have you learned? You talked about startups, innovations, technology. Some of these could be really overwhelming for an educator,
Yeah.
but because they haven't seen it in the daily lives. How many educators we've seen who've worn a VR glasses and walked around in a class? It's difficult, right? So if you've come to the event and they've done that, they've experienced something, they'll go back and implement something in their institutions. So we always do a sample survey of more than 5,000 educators and understand what have you taken back,
Hmm.
and give us 2 things you've implemented in your institution after DIDAC. Now,
Yeah.
this could be pedagogical, this could be technological, this could be in terms of infrastructure, this could be in terms of methodology, assessments, anything. The
Hmm.
point is they have to go and implement. And I would be, I'll tell you, something which gives us an immense proud is that more than 70-75% of the responses are that it's not just two, we are implementing multiple things we are bringing back. Because again, it's about the first time the educators have been given a chance to come talk to the industry, not being judged, look at collaborations in an open environment, and that works. See, good work is happening in the country. We all know that, whether it's
Yes.
education or skills, right? But it's happening in silos.
Yeah.
Where is that collaboration and meeting point? Where is it that academia, industry, government, international partners all sitting under one roof? So we are saying, what's the best practice in Germany or UK or Australia or Finland? What's the best practice in Gujarat to Rajasthan to Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala to Jammu Kashmir? And this is where educators would learn from each other. I think that for us is the key factor of implementation on ground. Otherwise, it end up becoming another theoretical event.
Right. Yeah, that's, I think, a very thoughtful way of making sure that, whatever is seen there in the event is also followed and people do act upon these things. I also remember getting a lot of emails after attending the event, about it. Those mails came to me also, even though I was not a part of that audience. But still, I remember that those were like very pointed questions and things as follow-up. And also during the event, I remember when we were having lunch and meeting people, there was a lot of excitement, especially the school leadership. Some of them I met, they were really excited. They wanted to go back and do a few things, experiment. I guess they were also looking at partnerships there. And I could see that happening, that there was a lot of buzz.
I mean, see,
Yeah.
these events, some of these events and similar events are happening
Yeah.
globally.
Hmm.
But in all practicality, if you look at the way India is today,
Yeah.
and even despite the fact that India is growing phenomenally and the last 20 odd years have been great in economic growth in India,
Hmm.
99% of the audience will not be able to travel globally and understand these best practices or solutions.
Yeah.
How do they get to know what's happening globally? What is the future of work, like Neeta said, or what's the future of education going to look like?
Yeah.
Somebody sitting in tier 3 city in India, how do we expect them to compete globally? And
Hmm.
that's what this event needs to do. We keep
Yes.
blaming industry academia gap. We keep saying, okay, what our schools are talking, there is a dropout ratios are high. Even our NEP talks about 50% gross enrollment ratio as our aspirational target. What we are talking is, let these not be aspirational, let these be realistic. But to make it realistic, no institution in the country can do it alone. You have to look at collaborations. You have to look at collaborations within the sector. So it could be academia to academia, school to school, school to college, private sector to private sector, or it could be government and private, or
Yeah.
it could be with industry partners. So we've got a lot of skilling industry partners who've been with us for years. Companies like Christiani, Festo, Lucas Newlay, we've got Siemens. So a lot of those big players coming together, actually implementing not just these, even IT tech players like Samsung and Apples of the world, coming together, working with school and colleges and saying, we can help you, not just with technology, but how to use this technology. AI is coming. AI is a big skill everybody's talking about. But what does it mean for a student and a teacher? How do you
Yeah.
implement that in a classroom? That's a skill which is required at the plumbing stage, carpentry stage, automobile stage, automation stage, or a doctor stage. Everybody's going to use it. So how do we use it in the classroom is a key. And that's where we talk about these partnerships coming together, that an educator not having the awareness globally what's happening comes here, whether you're running a play school, a K-12 school, higher education institute, or a skill center. You need to know what are the resources available, who can help me implement it. Come and see what are the best solutions which have been implemented already, and then try and implement in your institution.
Yeah. Yeah, very important point which you just mentioned is it's like we bring the entire world, at one place and make it very comprehensive, because that's what I think is one of the important things, to see what is happening around the world. Another important point we just picked up again, I think, is getting re-emphasized is the industry collaboration. So Dr. Neeta, now since you're already, collaborating and partnering with the sector skill councils, maybe you can briefly tell us what are the industry sectors which we can expect there, to be, if people want to meet, learn more. Like, for example, today we talk about the renewable energy sector, or AI is like all pervasive, green skills and EV, and these are all the emerging sectors. So can we also expect that during the event?
Absolutely. I think we've tried to not crowd the space too much. So that's why we've been very focused on saying, okay, the emerging sectors or the emerging markets that we need to look at first. So of course, auto is a big sector that's going to be there, because that's one sector which is, I think, attractive to also, young children or a lot of people. And manufacturing is one thing that we are concentrating on, because we know that if you want to become a trillion-dollar economy soon, we do need to put our hands into manufacturing, and that's where the industry is feeling the pinch. They're saying that of course, I don't want to get into the whys of it, but so I think we need to prepare children young. That is one. And healthcare is another sector that you will see a lot of, because like Mr. Aditya mentioned, there are international partners who are coming to India this time specifically to understand what's happening in India, how they can collaborate with Indian partners as well. So I think that's a big opportunity for us that we see. So these are the few sectors, and of course, EV and green energy, all those sectors are there with us. We've taken 10 specific sectors so that we don't crowd, the minds of people too much also. But this time, I think I'd say Didac Skills is going to be like just giving them a flavor of what the skill sector can provide for them. And we've chosen these sectors, and very consciously we've decided that we want to also showcase the opportunities in each sector. So it's going to be a lot for people to, take in, absorb, if you have too many sectors. And one more sector that I would like to mention, which, a lot of people are tuned to, is beauty and wellness. So, that's also going to be a one sector which is exciting. But, we need to understand also that every sector has opportunities. We do need the best and the right minds into manufacturing. And for that, we need to start early. So the sector skill councils will be bringing about awareness of their sectors at all levels, from the school, there will be place or conversation going on with schools, even with K-12. Our education system hopefully will mature to that level where we have more, options for children. I know we are getting there, but I think that's really the point that we have when we are talking about sector skill councils, or we are focusing on a few sectors to say, let's have the flavor this year. Let's start with this. And when we realize that, just to give you an example, when we talk to the auto sector or even the plumbing sector and even the furniture sector, that design thinking is such a big aspect, which sometimes we don't realize, and especially if you talk of plumbing or furniture, we only look at the wood craft, or we look at plumbing as pipes. But imagine those fancy, gadgets, which they're like gadgets coming into our, homes now. So who's doing that? Somebody is designing those. They're aesthetically, ergonomically, whichever way you call it. So, and even cars. There is a design thinker behind it. So that's an example that I wanted to give you, to say we want to really focus and expose our educators to the different opportunities that lie in every sector. So if they are convinced, if they feel that, okay, this is exciting, and once they get their learning, I'm sure it's much easier for us to translate it to the complete ecosystem. So I hope
I
that
think
answers your question.
if I may add, I think Neeta did talk about a lot of sectors, starting from beauty to furniture to woodwork, with plumbing. So these are all crafts, and then talked about automobiles and automation. These are again some of the sector skill councils joining us, telecom. But some of the others, because she was talking manufacturing, just reminded me, we've got logistics, we've got the electronics sector. So I think if you look at the space now, from a handcraft to a skill like beauty, which is glamorous across sectors, to automobile, which is glamorous at another end, to logistics, which is the backbone of manufacturing sector. I think we've got it entirely covered for what the students want to be. And then you look at healthcare coming in. So a typical conventional program from a school side, which students like to take, to a higher education space, I think we're covering a lot of job scenarios in that space.
Yeah, I think that's a wide area of the kind of industries you're targeting. And also, two or three important points I just observed while you were explaining the entire scenario is the change we badly need in perceptions, the perception of the industry itself, especially in the context of CBSE introducing mandatory skill subjects, right? I'm sure this is going to play a huge role there. In bringing that shift in perception, the kind of shift, the new thinking we need to approach these sectors, and also, like you already said, showing them a pathway towards higher education. It could be research, it could be any of these things. So besides all the discussion we had, is there any other points you wish to add before we come to the closure of this very interesting and enlightening conversation?
I think the one thing which we like to, of course, appeal to your members and partners is to join us at DIDAC.
Okay.
This is the amalgamation of whatever we talk about in this country, whatever NEP says, whatever the government says. It's an amalgamation of that. That
Yeah.
technology is not going to be the 100% solution. It's going to be technology with the human intervention. And that is where the skill comes in. So what we are saying is technology being an enabler, understand that enabler, come and experience that enabler, see what kind of innovations, what happens, see what and where the education is moving towards globally. How do we in India compete with it? Understand the content part of it, understand what NEP says with school education, higher education, and skill development. How does it implement back in the ecosystem? For an industry, this is the one place where you meet your target customers all in under one roof in 3 days. So
Yeah.
nothing better than that. And we've seen that over the industry partners which have been exhibiting. So whether it is coming as an exhibitor or coming as a visitor, whether it is joining us in any capacity as a stakeholder, if you have anything to do with education and skills, then DIDAC India and DIDAC Skills is something you can't miss. And that's the message we want to give out to all your partners and members.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Neeta. Anything to add?
I think Mr. Aditya said it all. We just would like, in fact, every citizen of India, every educator, every industry partner, every skill stakeholder to come and visit us. And this is the first year of Didac Skills. So, like I tell the e-skill ecosystem, it's your show. So do come and support us. Do come and give us your recommendations, your feedback, and be an active participant this year, especially. And next year we'll make it bigger. This year it is big. Next year it'll become bigger. So we invite everybody to come and visit us, support us, and make it your show. Thank
And
you.
also, I'll just want to put in a word for NSN, and I think for you, Madhuri, because you've been such a strong advocate of skills. So we are very happy to have NSN as our partner to the DIDAC Skills Show.
Thank you.
And we look forward that as together, we can make the skilling mission even bigger in the country. So DIDAC India has established its presence in the 15th edition by the 14 years of work, the work which we've done. But I think with your support and a partner support, we want to make sure that DIDAC Skills becomes the biggest show in the world for skills.
Yeah, it will. And from our side, we are very happy and excited for to take this forward. And also, as I said, it is aligning with so many things we have been doing and in fact struggling with to communicate, I would say, over the last, we just completed 10 years, as you know. So it's a wonderful thing for us at this milestone in our journey. And we would be very happy to do whatever else is needed to make this a very big successful event. So thank you so much for joining us today and enlightening us, telling us so much about the event itself. And I'm very happy to take this thing forward. And I really look forward to be in touch with both of you. And to our audience, in case you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so immediately. You will be getting all the updates from us. And when you click the bell icon, so I look forward to be in touch with all of you and see you at the event in November 18th, 19th, 20th, yeah, at Yashobhoomi, Delhi. So it's, very soon, just about 6 weeks to go from now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dubey.